Welcome back to Books with AR, Chapter 60, Elder. Huang Long looked at the bottles and let out a snort. The river water from the back mountain is not allowed to be taken out. I'll be taking these 2 bottles. You can go and rest. Remember to come meet me tomorrow and I'll take you to the scripture library to find a suitable cultivation technique for you, he said. After Wang Lin heard this, he became very excited. On his way out, he respectfully said goodbye. Although his current cultivation was high, his only technique was the attraction technique. After Wang Lin left, Huang Long turned. He respectfully bowed and said, "Elder Shangwan, do you think what Wang Lin said was true? And how should we deal with him?" A skinny old man wearing a blue robe walked into the main hall. His face was very gloomy. "How much of it is true? Huang Long, can you not tell that little guy didn't say a single word of truth?" Huang Long revealed an embarrassed expression. This was one of the 10 foundation-building elders. In the cultivation world, strength was what mattered most. Him being the sect head and his fellow martial brothers being elders was only a front put up for the outside world. The rule of the Heng sect was that if one reached the foundation building stage, they could become an elder and enjoy that role's privileges. If one achieved core formation, then they would become one of the true elders of the Heng sect. And if one reached nascent soul, then they would be considered an ancestor of the Heng sect. Normally, the 10 foundation-building elders were in closed-door training, but after hearing the shocking news from the Huang Dao sect, Huang Long quickly found the 10 elders to tell the 2 core formation true elders about this matter. Wang Lin's appearance was very unexpected for Huang Long, so he took the chance to bring Wang Lin here to question him and have the foundation-building elders question him as well. Elder Shangwan took a look at the bottles in Huang Long's hand. He scanned them with his divine sense, then said, "This little brat did say one thing that was true. This is indeed the river water from the back mountain, and if consumed every day, it will help with cultivation." Huang Long hesitated for a while. "Elder Shangwan, do you think the technique Wang Lin used was really the attraction technique?" Elder Shangwan looked at Huang Long and said, "I saw his matches, and I can confirm that the technique he used was really the attraction technique." Huang Long's expression changed greatly. "Is it really the attraction technique? But how could it be so powerful that it could even catch magical treasures?" Elder Shangwan coldly snorted and said, "Any technique, after practicing for an extensive period of time, will have some special effect. Although it's nothing to foundation-building cultivators, this attraction technique is the most basic technique in the cultivation world. Do you still not understand that the more basic the technique, the longer its history?" Huang Long quickly nodded in agreement. Elder Shangwan pondered for a while, then said, "This child's cultivation is indeed at the 3rd layer, but he has way too much spiritual energy in his body, so I can't clearly check it all. My guess is that his power is that of 14th layer key condensation, so he should be able to reach the foundation building stage soon. It is okay for a disciple like this to have his secrets because the sect is in a very dangerous state. The Huang Dao sect really deserves to be called a small sect, sending some key condensation juniors as elders and daring to win Wang Lin over in front of us with voice transmission?" Huang Long was stunned. He didn't ask further about the voice transmission, but asked, "Huang Long obeys. Elder Shangwan, regarding matters about the ancestors?" Elder Shangwan let out a sigh. A scowl appeared on his face. He shook his head and said, "The ancestors haven't sent back any messages in 30 years, I'm afraid. Alas, this is not something you can do anything about. If the Huan Dao sect really wants the Heng Yue Peak, then there is nothing we can do. The country of Zhao is a large place, and we'll have a spot for our Heng Yue sect. Once the two true elders break into nascent soul, all of this humiliation will be paid back. Huang Long let out a bitter smile and silently nodded. As for Wang Lin, after he walked out of the main hall, all the inner disciples made way for him and were full of respect. This treatment was completely opposite compared to the day before. Strength. In the cultivation world, strength is all that matters. Wang Lin felt a bit emotional as he walked back to Sun Dazhu's garden. The moment he entered, he immediately saw Sun Dazhu walk up with a smiling face. "Good disciple, teacher has been waiting for you for a long time. Here, have some top-quality recovery tea teacher made for you. It will make you feel much better once you've drank it." With that, he picked up a cup from the stone table in the garden and handed it to Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression became a bit odd. Sun Dazhu's behavior changed too quickly, causing Wang Lin to be stunned for a bit. Sun Dazhu saw Huang Lin's expression. He awkwardly smiled and said with a sincere look in his eyes, "Wang Lin, and your teacher, I wasn't every good, and we had a lot of misunderstandings." Huang Lin did not take the cup. He scanned it with his divine sense and found fluctuations of spiritual energy. He said, "Disciple is tired, so I won't be drinking this tea." Sun Dazhu quickly said, "Tired? Then you must get some rest. The place you were staying at before is too small. From today on, you can live in my room." Wang Lin's expression remained calm, but he was very cautious in his heart. It has to be said that within the sect, Sun Dazhu was the one that would be most suspicious of him. So Wang Lin shook his head and said, "It's fine, I won't be staying for long. I'll return to the back mountain to go into closed-door training in a few days." Sun Dazhu opened his mouth to say something, but Wang Lin quickly said goodbye and left. Sun Dazhu looked at the tea in his hand. His eyes were filled with a cold light. Wang Lin suddenly turned around with a faint smile on his face and thoughtfully looked at Sun Dazhu. Sun Dazhu's face suddenly stiffened and he said, "Good disciple, is there anything else?" Wang Lin revealed a sarcastic expression. He took a few steps forward and said, "Teacher, you look very nervous." Sun Dazhu's heart skipped a beat. He took a few steps back and regained his composure. "Teacher is indeed nervous. You, the disciple, are much stronger than me. I am only at the 5th layer of key condensation." Huang Lin looked at the tea and said, "Teacher, drink this tea for disciple." Sun Dazhu's expression suddenly changed, and he forced a smile. "What is this? If you don't want to drink it, I'll just dump it." With that, he threw the cup to the ground and moved back a few more steps, until his feet were at the gate. "Teacher, drink it." Huang Lin's expression remained calm. He activated his attraction technique. The cup that was falling to the ground stopped and floated toward Sun Dazhu. Huang Lin let out a sigh. He knew that Sun Dazhu had hostile intentions. There was indeed something wrong with the tea. Sun Dazhu's expression became uneasy. After pondering for a long time, he suddenly frowned and said, "Huang Lin, it seems you still have misunderstandings about your teacher. You believe there is something wrong with this tea? Fine. I'll drink it." Sun Dazhu picked up the tea and drank it. Then he threw the cup on the ground and said, with discontent, "Is that okay? The sect head has asked me to talk to him. It will be bad if I'm late. If there is anything else, let's talk afterward." With that, he turned to leave. Huang Lin's eyes lit up and moved his body. Sun Dazhu's expression changed, and he quickly backed up. But how could his 5th layer cultivation compare to Wang Lin? In a moment, he arrived next to Sun Dazhu. His eyes lit up and slapped Sun Dazhu's chest. Before, when Sun Dazhu drank the tea, He realized that Sun Dazhu didn't really drink the tea, but surrounded it with spiritual energy. With that slap, Wang Lin's spiritual energy was scattered, and the tea quickly dissolved into Sun Dazhu's body. Sun Dazhu's expression suddenly changed to one containing a hint of fury. He quickly said, "Huang Lin, what are you doing? Do you want to kill your teacher? If you kill me, the Heng Yue sect will not forgive you." Wang Lin remained calm. He sent out his divine sense and found that the tea had completely dissolved in Sun Dazhu's body. Then he felt slivers of wires making their ways from the tea to Sun Dazhu's head. Sun Dazhu also felt something was wrong, but before he could speak, the wire-like object had already reached his head. Instantly, his grim expression started to relax. Wang Lin stared at Sun Dazhu and immediately realized that something was off. Sun Dazhu's expression seemed a bit dull. He pondered a little, then asked, "Teacher, disciple is not trying to kill you, but you try to act against me. However, if teacher really did drink the tea, I wouldn't have done this." Sun Dazhu's expression stayed dull. He quickly said, "The tea should not be drunk." Wang Lin was stunned. He carefully examined Sun Dazhu for a while, then asked, "Why shouldn't it be drunk?" Sun Dazhu said, with a dull expression, "There is Three Thread Nematode Grass in the tea." Wang Lin's eyes lit up. "What effect does the Three Thread Nematode Grass have?" he asked. "The ability to control the person who drunk it for a short period of time. It is a key ingredient for making puppets." Killing intent flashed across Wang Lin's eyes. "Why did you want me to take it?" he asked. "Ever since I found out that you had those gourds, I had some doubts in my heart, so I took you in as my disciple. Originally, I wanted to get you to the first layer so I could use the soul-searching technique on you, but I had already given you the spiritual energy scattering grass, so I thought it would take you more than 10 years to reach the first layer, and gave up on that idea. In the competition, you suddenly showed great strength, so I thought you must have had more of those gourds and other secrets. I want to increase my cultivation as well, so I thought of giving you this tea." Wang Lin took a deep breath and asked, "What is the spiritual energy scattering grass? And also, have you told anyone else about me? And why didn't you use this three-thread nematode grass on me before?" Spiritual energy scattering grass is used to help remove all of your cultivation. As for the matter about you, I never told anyone. I didn't want anyone besides me to steal the gourds, and after that things changed too suddenly, so talking now would end up hurting me instead. So I decided to act. As for the three-thread nematode grass, I didn't have it before. I got it from another cultivator when I left the mountain last year. That cultivator said that if it's used on a cultivator below foundation building, it has a 90% success rate. I originally wanted to use it on Lun Yangji to get some pills out of him. Wang Lin became furious and sneered. "Were you not afraid of me finding out? In order to find the secret you hold, I can't worry about too many things. I'm already old. If I don't improve, then I will never be able to reach foundation building in my lifetime. In fact, I wasn't sure if you were going to come back today, so I decided to gamble and prepared this tea. If you came back, I would offer you the tea, and if you didn't, I assume you would be with the sect head and will live in the back mountain most of the time, so I wouldn't have another chance to act." A cold light flashed across Wang Lin's eyes. He coldly asked, "Before, you said the sect head was looking for you. Is that true?" "No." The moment Sun Dazhu's word came out, Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and he slammed his hand on Sun Dazhu's head. Blood started pouring out of Sun Dazhu's orifices, and he fell on the ground. Wang Lin stared at Sun Dazhu's body. He felt an undescribable feeling. This was the first time he had killed anyone, and it was his teacher. After pondering for a long time, Wang Lin put away Sun Dazhu's body. He walked out of the Henghua sect with a dull expression until he reached a mountain, then threw the body down.
Welcome back to Books with AR, Chapter 61, Ancestor. After returning to his room, Wang Lin sat cross-legged on his bed. He spread out his divine sense and left a trace of it around his room in order to detect anyone who was trying to probe in with their divine sense. After that, he took out the mysterious bead and began to think. Around 3 days ago, all of the cloud images on the bead disappeared and were replaced by the image of a leaf. In regard to this, Situnan said that the heaven-defying bead had enough water element and now needed wood element. Because of this, he had urged Wang Lin multiple times to leave the Hengyue sect to get material with wood element and quickly fill the heaven-defying bead with it. Wang Lin had gained an understanding of his current power. He was currently at the 14th layer of qi condensation. However, he was curious about how he didn't need any of the chants and just progressed this far through cultivation. He suspected that it had something to do with Situnan. While holding the bead, he entered the dream space. Right as he was about to enter, he quickly put the bead away. The moment he entered the dream space, Situnan said, with discontent, "Why didn't you kill those people in the competition earlier? If it was me, I would have killed all of the males and sect dry all of the females, then use that centipede to make wine. It would be very nutritious. But one thing you did that suited my taste was killing that Sun Dazhu. Not bad. Just like me in my youth. Wang Lin, you have to remember that the cultivation world is a cruel place. The strong consume the weak. If you keep up your naive thinking, then I'm afraid you won't live for long." Wang Lin pondered for a long time. "Senior, should the next step be to prepare for foundation building? Junior doesn't know any chance to enter foundation building." Situnan snorted and said, "I know the chant, but entering the foundation building stage is the true step into the world of cultivation and is very difficult. You should find a secluded place to go into closed-door training in to help increase your chances of breaking through. Also, your spiritual spring water and snow water won't be enough anymore. When you enter foundation building, you need a lot of spiritual energy, so you better prepare some spiritual dew." Wang Lin nodded and said, "The dew is easy to get, it just requires a lot of time." Situnan sighed and said, "The spirit movement stage, which is also the qi condensation stage, is to use the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to refine the body. This has all been laying the foundation for the foundation building stage. As of now, you can already attempt to break into the foundation building stage. But I recommend you wait until you reach the 15th layer. Your talent isn't that good. And even though I've been using my own essence to help you in these past decades, entering the foundation building stage is a heaven-defying act. If I still had my body, I would be able to just barely help you through it, but I can't do much now. In addition to this, your means of attack is too simple. Just one technique won't do. But sadly, all the techniques I have require you to be at least at the foundation building stage to use. You should quickly reach the foundation building stage so I can pass the underworld ascension method to you." Wang Lin was stunned and said, "Underworld ascension method?" Situnan proudly said, "Correct. Heh. Even in my home, a rank 6 country, it is still a top quality method. Unfortunately, it requires a place with a lot of yin element, or the cultivation will be too slow. But the cold spiritual energy it creates is incredibly powerful. Once you have reached the peak of this method, you can even fight against the experts of rank 7 countries. This is settled. Tomorrow you can go to the scripture library of the small sect and see what they have. But once you reach foundation building, you must practice the underworld ascension method." Wang Lin pondered for a bit and nodded. "Also, Wang Lin, it's best that you don't put the heaven-defying bead in your bag of holding. Place it as close to your chest as possible so I can still communicate with you when you're not in the dream space, and you can enter the dream space through me." Time slowly passed as Situnan talked. After 2 days in the dream space, Wang Lin woke up. He sat cross-legged and put the bead close to his chest, then took a drink of the spiritual liquid and cultivated all night in silence. The next morning, Wang Lin opened the door. His body floated into air as he moved towards the main hall. The moment he arrived in the air of the main hall, Huang Long walked out and let out a kind smile when he saw Wang Lin. The smile on his face was much warmer than it was yesterday. He said, "Wang Lin, come with me." With that, he waved his sleeves and jumped into the air. Wang Lin quickly followed behind. After a while, they arrived at a sub-peak of the Heng Mountain, the Pine Peak. When they passed over the area where the competition was held yesterday, Wang Long didn't stop, but flew straight past it and went deeper into the Pine Peak until he stopped in front of some strange rocks and said, "Wang Lin, this is a restricted place in the Heng sect. This is where the core foreman true elders and foundation building elders cultivate. So don't carelessly spread out your divine sense, or you might offend them." Wang Lin immediately agreed. Huang Long took a deep breath. He took out a piece of purple jade and threw it into the air. Then he formed a seal with his hand, swiped his hand through the air, and whispered, "Open." The piece of jade quickly started to shine, and a circle started to expand from it, forming a circular passage wide enough for one person to pass through. Huang Long didn't say a word and walked inside. Wang Lin hesitated a little and followed him. The moment he entered, his eyes blurred. When his eyes cleared, he saw a few old and tall buildings. The buildings gave off a very heavy air, making him feel like he couldn't breathe in here. Meanwhile, 7 to 8 powerful divine senses came out and scanned him. Then a slow and ancient voice came out. "So, you are Wang Lin. Not bad." Wang Lin became alert and respectfully said, "Disciple Wang Lin greets elder." And at the same time, Situnan's voice echoed in his mind. "This place makes it look much more like what a small sect should be. 2 core foremen and 10 foundation building cultivators. Not bad." Huang Long's expression suddenly changed and growled, "What? Elder? This is Ancestor." Wang Lin was stunned. The voice came again. "It's fine. Sect customs are useless here. Wang Lin, this time you have done a great deed for the sect, so you can choose any technique you like in the scripture library. This scripture library can't be compared to the one in the courtyard. This is where the real techniques of the Heng sect are stored. There are more than 10,000 techniques inside this library. If you were to take this library and compare it to all of the other sects in the country of Zhao, there is no other sect with a larger collection. You must not be too greedy, and you must pick the right one. Huang Long, you can take him there now." In Wang Lin's mind, Situnan scornfully said, "A mere core foreman as ancestor? When I was young, all the core foreman cultivators tried to suck up to me, and some of the female core foreman cultivators would even take off their pants to try to sleep with me." Wang Lin's expression remained normal, as if he hadn't heard anything Situnan said. Huang Long quickly and respectfully responded. He pulled Wang Lin to one of the buildings. This building gave off a very ancient atmosphere. It looked like an old library.